Okay, now we are. So, welcome everybody. Hello everybody, welcome for the next episode of, we still call it Spaces at MC² Finance, but now we are on multiple platforms. And today we are discussing the potential of layer 3 solutions, and we are joined by our wonderful panelists, Niel from zkLink and Chloe from U2U Network. Also Chris, the co-founder of MC² Finance. And let's start with introductions. So let's start with Niel. Tell us about zkLink and also yourself.
Yep. Hey guys, my name is Niel. I am the PR lead and communications lead for zkLink. zkLink is a infrastructure company that develops aggregated rollup infrastructure, layer 3s. And what we do essentially is we unify liquidity across multiple rollups, and we also provide the security and the scalability of zk proofs. And we do this through two specialized aggregated rollup solutions. zkLink X, which is our sort of rollup as a service type of rollups where you can customize your applications to its fullest potential. And we also do it through zkLink Nova, which is the largest aggregated rollup layer 3 zk EVM network available on the Ethereum network right now. So yeah, that's a little bit of who we are. I'm happy to be here and here to answer any questions about layer 3.
Nice. Let's continue with Chloe. Hey, Chloe.
Hey, Ted, and hello, Neil and Chris. How are you guys doing?
Nice.
Cool.
Would you introduce U2U Network to us and also tell a bit about your own role there?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Chloe. I'm a co-founder and co-CEO of U2U Network. We are a modular DeFi layer 1 that have the tire set net technology in order to maximize the DeFi application built on top of us. So so even though we are building a layer 1, but when I heard from Ted and also Hannah, the marketing team member, about the topic today, I feel very interested because as a modular layer, we also do a lot of research on other like layer 1, layer 2, and also layer 3 as well, right? So in order to find the best approach for our own project. So that is why I'm here, even I don't build the layer 3. And a little bit about myself, I'm a serious entrepreneur. So started my entrepreneurship since 2016. The first startup I involved in biotechnology, and also achieved some remarkable number there. The startup successfully raised $30 million US from traditional finance institution. And the second startup I formed within the crypto space is the top one fiat to crypto market serve for the local market in Vietnam. So at that time, we also partner with Binance, OKX, and Huobi. We are the first exchange in Vietnam that listing their token directly to fiat. And usually it's my third startup. We started 2 years ago, and at that time we don't have the word like DeFi. At that time, we should want to build a sustainable layer 1 that can host application that have like continuous demand from user, not just in the bear market, but also happen like the network become busy during the bear market as well. So that's why we want to host like real application. And 9 months ago, when we want to go global and want to build our brand, then we do research. So figure out that the application we want to host on our network actually belong to the DeFi sector. So that's pretty much about the history of myself and also U2U Network. And thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, nice. And let's continue with Chris. Chris, would you introduce MC² Finance to our audience and also tell a bit about your background?
Sure, happy to. I'm Chris, co-founder of MC² Finance. I'm since more than 20 years actually in the tech space, already exited 2 startups before, and about 1.5 years ago founded MC² Finance. And with MC² Finance, we drastically simplify how you analyze, discuss, and invest in Web3. It's a full intent-driven, decentralized platform that drastically simplifies your interaction. As a user, we treat your wallet not like a list of tokens, we treat it like your investment portfolio. So we have a very holistic approach, giving you personalized adoptions of what you actually need to adopt. Like, for example, what's the highest risky token in your wallet that you maybe should change. And with this holistic approach, we can give you a lot of more insights how you want to trade. You can select several tokens that you want to adopt. After you made your assumptions, you want to discuss it with your peers. With us, you can do it in an on-chain verified way. That means whenever you see on the socials a link of MC² Finance, you know that this person is talking the truth, because with a single click, you can verify all their past trades. And after you come to your conclusion, you then can trade it in an intent-driven way. You just say, these are the 3 tokens that you want to have. We figure out on what blockchains, what networks they are, what bridges we need to use, what DEXs we need to trade on. And we solve all of this for you. So you just do a single signature and we figure out the rest. Therefore, drastically simplifying how you operate in Web3. And layer 3s, new layer 1s are essential because we are building on these technologies. Our product would not be able, with modern like cross-chain infrastructure and cross-chain solutions, that further simplifies the use cases for the users.
Awesome. Also, before we jump straight to the topic and straight to the questions, I would like to notify our audience that we are currently very actively developing our ambassador initiatives. And we have 2 programs. One of them is called KOL in Residence, another is called Trader in Residence. So whether you are interested in DeFi or trading, or you have just strong social, like online social presence, or you would like to enhance that, reach out to us and we can create some synergetical approach where we help you to make your profile stand out, make it stronger, and you also help us to make our community and our product much better. And without the further ado, let's get straight to the topic. Quite recently, in one of our recent episodes, we discussed layer 2s, and now we are getting to layer 3s. And so I'd like to ask Niel, what like extra benefits and where can be the value extracted from layer 3s, and does like current like in crypto industry as we know it in its status quo require layer 3s, or is it like still early to go that deep into these solutions?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for that. I think one of the things which what is an L3 even, right? It's mainly an application layer. What does this even mean? Application layer, it's basically a place where users would essentially want to be on, where they can they can find different services on an interactive blockchain through this application layer itself. So excuse me. So with like the application layer here, right, you're always thinking about, as a developer or even like as an infra provider, you're thinking, what are sort of like the best ways that you could provide the best user experience to give to your your developers, to your users, and how would they actually find any sort of like value when they get and start using your product. So this was kind of like the guiding questions that we had, and when we were building out zkLink and Nova, a lot of the research that we had all showcased that there was a very interesting demand for yields. you know. So I think that's one of like I think that any sort of like crypto person or person that comes into exploring blockchain for the first time, the first thing they're going to ask is, you know, okay, so now that I'm on the blockchain, where am I going to make the money? How am I going to make something? Because you're all chasing this this tangible type of like of tangible type of object. So with the layer 3 as a brand new user, you essentially get access to a third layer of yields, which for the DeFi degens and the farmers out there, it's you guys will have a field day, mainly because, you know, when you stake your when you stake your Ethereum or any sort of like when you stake your Ethereum, and then you get your staked Ethereum token, you can then use that LST into an LRT, which you can then bridge into zkLink Nova, our layer 3, and you can actually get the native yield of that layer 3 itself. So now you found a way to use your assets that were already staked on the layer 3. You found an additional way to utilize this like yield for yourself. But this is more on only like or rather like for developers and people with sort of like a goal to preserve capital. It's sort of like a mid game kind of like strategy here, and you still want to grow it, right? And the way that you grow it is as a developer, you would want to create even more value for your users. So, which is the other reason why you would need a layer 3 in this case, or an aggregated layer 3, because an aggregated layer 3 essentially aggregates liquidity from multiple blockchain layers. And what this means is that as a developer building on this aggregated layer 3, you have a very deep liquidity pool which you can tap from. And then when you have, for example, a DEX or a lending protocol with a deep liquidity pool, you essentially are able to you have less limitations on creating new and interesting DeFi strategies and products and overall user experience. So now your focus when you build a product simply becomes how many users can I market and gain, instead of where am I going to get my next fundraise and where am I going to find the next amount of liquidity to sustain my protocol. So we help you with that sort of like one half of the equation. But later on, you know, like it's one of the most, like I personally think it's one of the most interesting things about like the layer 3 here. There are also like other things like performance and interoperability. I could get into it into later, but I think for like the top line, yeah, I think those will be the key benefits of a layer 3.
Nice, thank you. That's been quite a detailed answer. So I'd like to refer to Chloe. Chloe, since you are in like a layer 1 development business, I'd like to ask you what potential applications for layer 3s you may think of. You are on
I'm
mute,
mute,
I think.
yeah.
Now it should be
Yeah.
fine.
I cannot hear the last part of your question. Can you repeat it again?
What potential applications for layer 3s you may think of that would be like the most needed in the nearby future, or just the one that you consider interesting or unusual ones?
Okay, cool. So maybe like before answer directly into your question, I want to address like there's surely different type of layer 3 solution, right? So so layer 3 solution are playing, for sure, we already know, very crucial role in the advance. First is the DeFi space by enhance like all the functionality and also the cross-chain interoperability. So for me, like there's some type of layer 3 I want to address. Is the first one is a cross-chain like interoperability protocol. So it's a decentralized liquidity network that also enable the cross-chain swap without the need for rapid token or centralized intermediate like we see in the past few years. So for example, like centralized exchange, right? So for this cross-chain interoperability protocol is also like bring on with some unique feature. It allow user to swap access across different blockchain, and also again not rely into the centralized or token wrap, and other type of use case or layer 3 solution. We can say it like middleware. So it can be called like a centralized Oracle network that connects smart contract with real world data. And we know that in order for blockchain and any sector within the blockchain industry to boom or to go mass adoption, the data part is very important. How we can share those data across like different application, if different layer to helping to bootstrap the growth of all that application. So those are the type of layer 3 I can mention, and for sure the use case of layer 3 is I can see it play very strong role in the DeFi, and some of the example we can mention, for example, like Connect is a project that a cross-chain liquidity network, or Arbitrum Orbit. For me, like Arbitrum Orbit is one of my favorite layer 3 when I do the research. So like Arbitrum Orbit is somehow they offer a similar approach or solution to developers, similar like what we do at U2U. So Arbitrum Orbit also like allow developer to create customized layer 3 solution that tailor for the specific use case within the DeFi space. But for U2U, we offer that for developer to customize and build their own subnet within the DeFi space, unlike other layer 1 for DeFi. So that is why Arbitrum is one of my favorite layer 3 right now. And yeah, so that is some of the layer 3 use case I could mention and answer directly to your question. I hope that my question made you guys happy.
You did. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Also, Chris, take into account that MC² Finance is building a DeFi solution specifically for traders who want to enhance their efficiency in DeFi, and also other stakeholders who are interested in this sector. I would like to ask you what potential ways of layer 3 solutions have specifically to enhance the DeFi sector in the upcoming years.
Like the key thing is, like with the blockchain, we do very, very complex stuff. If you look behind how the consensus algorithms are and so on, that is very complex stuff. And with every new iteration, with every new cycle, we try to simplify and abstract complexity away to make it simpler for the users. Here, layer 3s are essential because there are cases like deepin, like games, as well as then other like user behaviors and special cases where you need to further improve what's already existing. You know, like if you want to transfer $1 million from A to B, then you can do it on Ethereum. Why do you ever need another solution? But this is actually one of the rare cases. Actually, like you have somebody wants to split the bill on the restaurant and you have like a $5 transaction, you need a much more efficient network than Ethereum. And if you go then into machines paying in cents each other depending on the activity that they're doing and for services in real time without actually users interacting, then you will need special blockchain solutions that are like either customized chains or layer 3s that are optimized for such use cases. And what I believe is that the next phase will be definitely about cross-chain simplicity, that you will have services that will be optimized for special chains, that you can utilize, that you can interact with from any other chain. So like that you can say, hey, my default assets are maybe on the BMD, BSC chain or on the base chain, because that's where I like to have it. That's where I bought my first tokens. But I want to interact on another, like on U2U on a DePIN, and I can directly do it without the need of figuring out what is now the bridge I need to use, what is now the DEX I need to use. Or that I say, I want to invest, I want to stake something on Arbitrum, but I do it through zkLink because the system says that my fees are much cheaper if I do it that way, and I have more opportunities to switch the assets around. And I think it's a really interesting future that abstracts like knowledge from the user away. And one of the key things that I always love to say is, as long as users need to care about the infrastructure they are running on, the bridge, the DEX, etc., we will never go mass market. This will not be available that more than 100 million users more will join the space. If people have to care about such simple and small details, we have to all work together to make it easier for the user. And I think that's there will not be one blockchain that wins. You know, like a lot of people say, okay, but who is the winner? There will not be one blockchain that wins. You need to carve out your special space. You need to connect to all of the others as simple as possible, and then you will succeed. So easier you make your connection, the easier you carve out what is exactly the perfect use case. Then you will win, and then we probably have hundreds of blockchains that actually serve a very important purpose for the decentralized network.
Thank you, Chris. Now back to Niel. Niel, I'd like to further speculate with you on the issue of like the how to say, the vertical creation of new layers that probably creates even more complexity to the user base. And I just wonder, would it be, if you can, follow me on this, would it be actually complex to implement like further layers of blockchains, complicating for the general audience who just want to get some approachable solutions where they can get like proper services instead of just having to absorb lots of information to just do at the first move? And what can be the solutions to mitigate this type of interactions? Would it be some account abstraction solutions, or maybe some good UI, maybe something in between?
Yeah, I like that. That's a very good question, right? How many layers is too many layers? How many layers of the onion do we need to go through? So the question is, of course, why would we even need so many layers in the first place? And personally, I think that it should stop at the layer 3, or maybe even at like the layer 4. What does these layers even mean, right? I think maybe like if layer 1 is the infrastructure layer, the second layer is the scaling layer, third layer is the application layer, the fourth layer would be the layer where applications can talk to each other autonomously, so there maybe could be some use cases there in like some different industries, but as like a general user, you don't want to be dealing with any of these layers, right? You just want to have that moment where you click the button and then it just works, and you get what you see what you're going to be getting, and then you click a button and you get exactly that. So right now, that is the biggest challenge I see in the blockchain space. Right now, we have, even to onboard, there are just simply so many different type of like steps along the way, and there are a group of people who are okay with that. There are the local crypto native people who are okay with this status quo, and there is the mass market who are absolutely not okay with this. So the question is, how do we get to these guys, right? Recently, it's actually a very interesting and exciting time in the industry right now, mainly because of two EIP standards, 4337, which is account abstraction, which gives you sort of like a paymaster and smart account capabilities. I won't go too much into that, but I'll explain a little bit more. The next one is 7683, which is a standard that lets you essentially create bundled transactions, cross-chain, many cross-chain transactions across, and all you gotta do is just click one button. Now, as a standalone, this is some really geeky stuff, right? But together, what this means is that finally, developers will be able to start coding and focus on UX. There could be a button where you see on Twitter, and you click it, and you simply onboard in 2 steps. And then if you want to, buy something from, or buy a token or participate, it's just another button. So what these standards have done is essentially, it's created, what would take 20 steps into now 2 steps, and it gives and it allows the developer to do all of that heavy lifting for you. So and this is also really important, right? Because now think about how do we actually get to mass adoption, or what would mass adoption look like? Take, for example, you're with your friends, you're on your couch and you're watching TV and someone's scrolling through Twitter. None of you are in crypto. And as you're scrolling, you see something really fun. You want to get in. There's a community of this meme token, and you want to be a part of it. You go through and you're like, okay, in order for me to comment and to connect with these guys, I have to buy the token. So you click on the token, and you instantly have access to this large community where you can be a part of, and you can communicate that your enthusiasm and your interest for this token. And at the same time, you can get your friends in with you to do it at the same time. The best part about it is that it only takes less than 30 seconds. And if you look at the current situation of things right now, it's going to take you 30 minutes. Nobody has got time for that. So I think that's sort of like where and what we see is going to be like the future, and why we need to start thinking especially developers, why we need to start thinking of better UX and how do we reduce the steps.
Totally agree. We just yesterday had a session with the team discussing what would need to happen to create an Amazon one-click buy button for crypto. And it's fully DeFi, non-custodial. What kind of technologies are we missing to get it ready? And I think there's so many things coming up, and it will be very exciting.
Yeah, I may I add on that?
Of course, go on.
Yeah, I also agree with Chris when you say like, who know which layer 1 should be winning, right? And we probably don't need a winner. We should want a blockchain, or as many as possible blockchain as there, but serve the need of the user and also for the builder. So I do agree that like for us, for example, like we are, even though there's already many layer 1 in the market, but we choose to build a layer 1 that target on a niche market that is like the pin market. So, and like Chris say, for as many layer 1 as possible, we just don't care, but just please make all that layer connected together so that we can increase the user experience. That is the only way that we can scale up and also bring blockchain to mass adoptions. And also for Niel, you just mentioned about builder experience as well. So we should not forget about builder experience besides user experience. So for me, like I do sometimes have a question like, will like currently like, we have many layers, like 1, layer 2, layer 3. We know that those layers exist for the reason, right? To solve the blockchain trilemma, that triangle we need to solve. But do you guys think that's gonna confuse the builder as well? Because if I choose to build a layer 3 on a layer 2, I also need to look at what that layer 2 technology build. and what layer one they are building on, right? Because like at the end of the day, that layer two build on top of layer one. So that also needs for me to learn. Okay, so basically that what is that layer one offer? So that layer one, layer two fit into what I'm gonna build with my product. I don't know whether builder are confusing. Maybe Chris can help me to answer it.
The biggest challenge in every new space is standardization, and standardization can be explicit, but also can be implicit by like convenience, by people just doing it. Like for example, in you can see blockchains also like as different cities and highways who connect them. That we work together in an infrastructure is, for example, very easy through the traffic light. Like a traffic light is a standardization that is all around the world. It has typically a green, orange, and a red light. People know what it means, and so in whatever city you come, you immediately can work together with cars, with bikes, with people, and probably in 90% of the cities in the world it works. Because we decided this convenience ages ago, and now everybody's using it. So we declared there is a layer one, and that's what it is. We declared there's a layer two, that's how it works. And that's how we work with the convenience. The issue is, if we go detailed on the features of a layer, there's a lot of things that has not been standardized. And it means as a blockchain, you need to configure 50, 100 different settings and names so that your users and your developers know what actually is the specialty. But the challenge is that out of the 50, probably only 4 or 5 are really relevant. And so because there is no standard, it's very challenging, and you need to spend a lot of time in research to identify kind of what is better for me. And so the more like are there, the more metrics are there for each of them, or like feature sets, the more complex it gets to where should I start. And I think that's one of the big challenges now in the space, that there's a lot of opportunity in a lot of different ways, especially for developers who want to build something. Which chain should I build on? That is very tough to answer. There is no guide. You can select the chain because of the grants, but then maybe it's not the right one. But and the kind of you need funding. Where are the users? There are the big chains which don't give you anything, but they have users. So I think it's a huge challenge also for encouraging the right protocols. And I think one of the big challenges now is UX and user adoption. So where are the dApps that everybody will be using, and how can we encourage actually them to get built and to get pushed forward? In my opinion, what I would work more on is more standards that actually make sense, that actually simplify. And I think here we are a decentralized ecosystem that should work together to make it easier, instead of we are decentralized, so let's fight everybody against each other. The more we standardize, the more we show what is the best use case for you. And yeah, that would be basically my wish for moving forward.
Agree with you as well, Chris. And thank you for the answer. Happy with it.
Combined with background music, we got like an excellent inspirational speech from Chris. So I'd like to actually continue with you, Chris. Answering my previous question, you mentioned that like in cases when you just need to like reduce the costs, layer 3s help a lot. For instance, you gave an example of splitting $5 bill or something. But let's speak about like more technically challenging cases. For instance, let's speak of high frequency trading. You can think of application of further layers like layer 3s or layer 4s there. But the problem is, would blockchain based solutions be ever able to beat the efficiency of centralized solutions, for instance, that can only do clearing like at the end of the day or in the end of the hour? And if so, if they can even get close, what are like the solutions, if any, exists to do that specifically? For instance, because you can imagine, like for instance, Binance is simply bundles all the transactions and then does the clearing in the end. But when you need to record every single transaction, you can't do that simply. So maybe there are, already made or theoretical solutions to that.
It's a great question. So if you compare centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, traditional finance, I think that the abilities of DeFi already far exceeds what's existing in traditional finance. It's just the adoption and the risk is differently. Traditional finance is very risk averse. Crypto is high risk still, even after so many years. You have probably some things that work out well. And that's what we see also with adoption, that JP Morgan has their own stablecoin and using most of the transfers already through it. So we see here that traditional finance starts to accept it. And centralized exchanges, the idea from them is let's combine the best of traditional finance with the best of crypto. So that's why, let's say, they're still in the lead. But there are some things that centralized exchanges cannot do. And I think the biggest benefit of crypto is composability. That means that you can have a token, then you can, for example, lend it out, and that you get a lending token. Then you get the lending token, then you can stake it, and then you can also restake it or use it as voting for something else, so that you can basically build on top of each other. Instead of building next to each other, you can build on top of each other. And this is an amazing ability of DeFi, where like now centralized exchanges try to give you staking, but they will never be able to do this complex composability that DeFi can do. And I think that this is our the key application, the key service, where we always will be better. So now we need to figure out how to make the user experience simpler, how to make the fees lower, where the Denkun update already helped a lot, to make it comparable. And I believe that if in 80% of the features, we can become already comparable to a centralized exchange, if we use latest technologies like layer 3s or specialized layer 1s, and then add the composability feature, which will be extremely tough for any centralized exchange to do as well, then we have the ability to overtake a centralized exchange. And I mean, that was the original idea. Like MC² Finance started like 1.5 years ago, where Order Book Layer 1 asked us why our DEX is not mass market ready, what would need to happen that a DEX overtakes a centralized one. So it's our research topic.
Right. Before we continue, I would like to offer our audience, if you are tuned in on YouTube specifically, to drop comments in the chat so we will see them. And if you have some specific questions towards our speakers, and those questions are on the topic, of course, then I'll pick them up and we can try to resolve them. And also, I'd like to pause and remind everyone that August is globally considered the least efficient month for almost every industry, with the exception of maybe tourism. But in the same time, we live in a very vibrant period of time in this industry, and projects are actively building and developing and considering solutions, preparing for the bull run. So I would like to use this time right now to offer our speakers the chance to kind of tell a bit more about the updates and features that are currently in developing or soon to be dropped, and if you can talk about that, of course. So let's start with you, Niel.
Hi. Yeah. I mean, I'm very happy to take this question actually, because at zkLink we're always building something new, and we're always keeping up with what's new, what's like the best tech in the industry right now, right? And we've been taking a big look at account abstraction and also intents. one really cool thing that we're doing later on, which we're actually going to be announcing next week, right? Is we're going to introduce account abstraction and also intent URL links. So what this means is that now this is going to be a new developer toolkit which we're going to introduce to the Nova SDK. This will essentially let developers create one-click experiences for their users, for new users. You can also developers will also be able to work with KOLs and marketers for affiliate links, where all you gotta do is you gotta program the intent URL link, and they can instantly onboard themselves into your protocol with just a few clicks. So that's really exciting, because the one-click use cases and potential is phenomenal. It's going to change the way how users just interact with DeFi. Imagine like one clicking into a 20-click strategy or a 30-click strategy, and this is all happening across multiple chains at the same time. So you are really like so if you're like a really good if you have a content creator that's doing really powerful DeFi strategies, you can instantly copy their entire DeFi strategy with just one click. Very similar to what MC² is also doing. But instead of DeFi, you've got trading as well, and we think this is how the best way that everyone can get involved, because now everyone can become a DeFi strategist. Everyone can become a professional and experience these like the full potential of blockchain. But most importantly, because we are a zk based type of solution, we're also at the safest and the highest security level available on the current tech right now. So you get the best of both worlds of that trilemma, right? You have the security, you have the interoperability, and you also have that scalability for more yields. So so if you guys want to check us out, do visit us on our Twitter, and do follow all of our socials. Remember to switch on the notifications, so that once when these things go out, it's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. Before we proceed to Chloe, I would like to read a question that is aimed towards you by Suleiman Muhammadan, and he asks, what is in the pipeline do you guys have for zkLink, and what you probably see in front, and what kind of projects can be built on Nova, and what about the incentives for building such as grants? Probably these are two questions. So
Okay. So I think I've answered like the first question already, so I'm just going to go on to the second one. What type of projects do you want to build on zkLink Nova? I think this is like the beauty of it, because we are a layer 3 that is general purpose, which is kind of new, right? Because general purpose means not enough customizability, but because you're a layer 3, we've customized it to make it to a point where it can be used for pretty much any sort of application, and you can scale it horizontally. Now, what this means is that if you're building on our chain, you have the liquidity and accessibility and connections to all of our connected chains. One of the key things which we are is that we are the only interoperable layer 3 across different tech stacks. We can settle on Ethereum, and we can take transactions from OP stacks, zk stacks, and ultimately settle on Ethereum, and we can have these like assets across these different stacks interact with each other, which nothing else on the market is available at the moment. So being this only interoperable aggregated layer 3, type of like projects which you would essentially want to build, right, is something that could take advantage of this. So what's really hot right now is games. We see that games is the best way to not only create a large amount of on-chain transactions, but it also showcases a lot of real value and usage. And it's also the best way to onboard new users onto the blockchain. So So if you're building something that can really take advantage of this aggregated and interoperable properties of zkLink Nova, definitely do hit us up, and let's have a chat. Love to meet you guys, and and see how we can take things forward.
Awesome. Let's proceed to Chloe. Chloe, can you tell us what U2U Network has in store for its user base for in the upcoming months? Maybe something exciting is being developed and ready for getting prepared for the release.
Yes, I love the question. It means like time to share about us. Yeah,
Of
so
course.
and we are layer one, so like we have like beside the user, the retail user, we care a lot about builder as well, right? So maybe I will share something very excited for builder first. So as I already mentioned before, we actually offer Tyler subnet technology, which mean that like we have a different subnet that target different sector within the DeFin sector. For example, like we have like DPN subnet, we have IoT subnet, we have like GPU subnet as well, and we also have file storage subnet. So why we have different subnet is because like each of the sector or each of the niche market require a different product feature and also require different data storage. What kind of data they want to store, what kind of product feature they want to have in their application in order for them to grow their user base, right? So we prepare those subnet ready for builder. So if you want to build an IoT an application within the IoT hardware, come and build on our IoT subnet. There will have some nice feature or product you can build out instead of other layer ones. All kind of different application can build just on one layer. There will be some barrier for you to have like as a builder for you to have like some unique feature on your applications. So we also like build some of our own flagship product to demonstrate for our subnet. So the first product we build is U2 DPN. So it's not the first DPN. It's like decentralized VPN, right? I bet many of us know about VPN. We don't build the first DPN in the space, but interestingly, we are the first one offer the mobility node for the DPN space. So it means if you have your phone, you can download the app and directly become a contributor node within the network, and you can earn instantly incentive from the people who using your bandwidth or using your unused internet that you already pay for the provider. And so that is help us to achieve like more than 60,000 nodes globally after just 2 months of launching. Am I able to present something here? I want to see to share the heat map.
Yes, you can click on
Specifically,
the bottom
if you
on
are
present.
tuned into, yeah.
You should have the present button.
You want to show the screen? I didn't understand. I thought you
Yes.
want to add the link to the comments. Yes, you can show the screen as well. There is a button for that.
Okay, so you guys see my screen?
It's loading.
Yes.
Now, yes, we can.
Okay, yeah. So I'm showing a heat map of our U2 DPM product. That is our flagship product to demonstrate for our subnet. So you can see after 2 months of launching, we gained like 60,000 nodes over the world. Like we have like more than 150,000 downloads already. And each of these green point, I can zoom in and you can see like they become like many like provider right now is running while we are talking. So when startups they scale or they grow like from different region to region, right? But this application allow us to scale in one go, like more than 150,000 download in 170 countries. So that is the beautiful thing we can do with our subnet technology that I want to share to the builder. So if you want to have a like a startup that can grow quickly and also can to be called real startup, then you can choose and build on top of our layer ones. And the other new I want to share is the for the user for sure. Since we already have like more than 60 the app built on top of our layer ones, out of it is 28 is they pin the app. You can join our campaign. We already launched a retroactive campaign for the user to experience although the app within our network, and you can gain some of the NFT and be eligible for receive a token when we go listing. And the listing is gonna happen within for sure this year. So take your chance and participate and experience our network. Thank you.
Thank you for the update. And now, Chris, at MC² Finance, we are also actively developing and enhancing both the UI and also providing new features. So would you let our audience know what's in the store from MC² Finance coming like in the upcoming months, like this quarter, next quarter?
Sure, we have a lot of things in the plan. The first thing is we drastically increased the analytics, so you can have sharper ratios, insights. Basically, we will help you treat your portfolio like a New York hedge fund manager would do with their assets, but you should be able to do with any wallets that you would like in the Web3 space. Then that's happening in August. Then soon afterwards, probably early September, we then also launch with the on-chain verified trades. That means you will be able to receive awards when you do a very good trade. Like currently, actually nobody's calculating it correct on what their returns were from different trades. And we help you do the exact calculations and share this as an award. If you did great returns, if you actually invested in the token and exited, that worked really well, you get an award that you can easily share on socials. And every user who follows you can, with a single click, verify that you did these trades and you actually succeeded. Currently in the crypto space, like everybody's posting pictures, nobody really can show the proof. With us, you will be for the first time able to show the proof. And then we, in late autumn, will work on our token launch. So we'll have several features dedicated to that. And after the token launch, you then will be able to copy all of the portfolios of the best traders with a single click. So you then can directly participate in their success as well, but directly within your wallet. So typically in Web3, whenever you invest into a strategy, into a fund, you need to send your tokens away into a vault, which is centralized. How we solved it, it's truly decentralized. Your assets will always stay in your wallet, and we will use smart accounts for that. And the trades will then directly happen in your wallet. And so all the assets that 100% in your control, while you still will be able to follow the best traders in the space.
Awesome. And I would like to also add from my side that we are on the last day of our 3-month-long airdrop campaign, so people can still join it. But yeah, it's been quite a journey, and we value very much everyone who helped us in this journey and joined this campaign. And we want to say that we've amassed very strong community, and we always have something extra for people to get involved with. So if you are doing this campaign, or if you have just found out about it and joined it, then you can find something new right after it ends. So we always, have some extra treats for you. And as I just said, you can always check out our product. You can connect your portfolios, follow their value, and yeah, really utilize the tool as it works already very well. General events and yeah, just have a good time. So we enjoyed very much this event with Niel from zkLink and Chloe from U2U Network. And hope to see you again in 2 weeks from now in next episodes at MC² Finance.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you,
joining.
Ted, for hosting, and thank Chris and Neil.
Thanks, Ted, for hosting. Good to meet you, Chloe and Chris. I thought this
Yes.
was a great one.
Perfect. Have a good
Likewise.
day. Bye, guys.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.